Hey everyone, so I wanted to record this little video. Sorry, I'm walking, but this is the time when I can do it. So I just came back from yoga. I'm having my cacao smoothie, and I wanted to share with you about a healing session that I had yesterday. I with a shamanic healer who I worked with before. And it's just so nice to have that time for me because, for all of you helpers, often, right, you're the one that's holding space for others and helping people through their transformations. And it's so essential that we have that space for us. So, first of all, that's just so healing, just to be in the receiving end. But one of the things that came up in the session with her is she talked about how, I've talked a lot about the year of the snake, shedding, how we've been doing so much shedding. And she said, all year long we've been shedding. Oh, this might not work. I'm trying to cross the street. I don't want to get hit by a car while I try to talk to you. But right now, as we come to, the last few months of the year, even though the year of the snake doesn't end till January, actually, that a lot of us are doing purging. And I was like, and that so resonated with me. And I actually looked up the definition. I'm like, well, what is the difference between shedding and purging? And purging, if you look up the definition, it's like the violent extraction of an unwanted material, something like that. Shedding is more subtle. It's like, for animals, it's the release of a skin so the new one can come. They're very similar, but purging is definitely a more intense thing. And so as I was reflecting on that, I was also thinking about how I've really been feeling Jesus so closely. I've always really have felt a close connection to Jesus, not from a religious perspective, so please know I'm not a Bible scholar at all, but I am a Jesus student. Jesus, which I would consider, an ascended master who is beyond any sort of religion. So anyway, I've really felt him close, really all year, but particularly the last month. And he's been telling me in my meditations, I've been hearing his guidance of I'm going through the eye of the needle. And that image, right? Think of a needle, and the eye of a needle is pretty small, the eye, right? When you put a string through it, it can be very difficult. And he knew, and I know, as he says this, it's like, oh, imagine being pulled through the eye of a needle, like any excess, anything extra, anything that isn't you, does not go through the eye of the needle. I might have to stop here because I'm going to eventually have to cross the street. So think about that. Nothing else. In fact, one of my favorite quotes in A Course in Miracles, which is one of the spiritual books I've studied for a long time, Jesus in there says how he is just like us. The only difference is that there's nothing in him that isn't true. So basically, he already went through the eye of the needle, right? And so I'm sharing this with you as comfort and medicine and understanding in case you're going through a purge right now. That session helped me so much. I literally felt like there was this piece of like a wooden stake in my heart. It's been there for about a month. It's been there for actually much longer, but it's coming up, right? It's coming up to the surface. And literally when I started that session, I was like, I could feel it so palpably in my heart. And it was, for me, purging this other layer of feeling it was like that abandonment wound, right? I don't need to go into details, but it's like something happened about a month ago that really triggered it, like massively, in a very surprising way, meaning like I wasn't, as often is the case, right? I wasn't expecting it. But sometimes you enter a situation and you're like, okay, I'm bracing myself. I know things might get triggered. But then there's other times where you're like totally, completely caught off guard. That's how this was for me. And so I've been processing for the last month this, with the help of my coach, with, journaling, yoga, walking, oracle cards, calling on my spirit guides, of course, calling on Mother Mary, all of the things. And then really yesterday, it felt like, there was this huge release. And so if you're going through a purging, first of all, I'm sending you so much love. Know that this is actually a good thing. And even when it was so challenging, even before yesterday, even when I had that big trigger and it was so painful, I knew that this was like divinely ordained, that on the other side I was going to have so much more wise compassion, freedom, sovereignty, all of those things. It didn't take the pain away, but it was like I knew it. I just knew, and I was so grateful that I knew that, because I've had other situations where, and often, when new clients come to me, or even clients that I've been working with for a while, I think one of the hardest things when we're going through a purge like this is when we think, I did something wrong. Why is this happening to me? Is the universe punishing me? What does this mean? But when we can have at least a peace of mind of understanding, no, wait, I know this isn't happening to me, it's happening for me. And in fact, one day, a few years back when I was meditating on that, Jesus really said it's happening from you, meaning like my own divine self is orchestrating all of this. Because what has my prayer been all year? This is my breakthrough year. This is my year where I'm shedding old identities and self-concepts. And that does mean some of this purging of these wounds. And I think today when I was in yoga, I was really thinking about that. And it was so interesting. I'll just share this other little tidbit. So I was going to, my Ashtanga yoga class. And, I go there and bracing myself for, there's a couple of poses that are very challenging for me. I mean, there's several I'm not even trying yet. But some of the ones that I am, the teacher, she always has to come and kind of support me through those. But I was like, okay, I'm like ready to do this whole thing. And then it was so interesting. First of all, I somehow, which I don't think I've ever done, forgot the warrior poses. So at some point where I was sitting, I was like, I forgot the warrior poses. And I told her, and I said, do you want me to do them? She's like, no, it's just remember, blah, 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 for next time. I was like, okay. And then the other poses that were challenging, which rarely happens, wasn't in like somebody came in, she had to tend to something. And it got to the point like I couldn't really wait longer for her assistance because I had to just keep moving forward. And so the end of the class came and I was like, wow, that was like so simple. And I realized, I was like, I really feel it was kind of like this, how sometimes when we're going through really hard things, you kind of prepare and you're like, okay, I'm in it, I'm the warrior, I'm gonna do it. And then all that's needed is your willingness, and and then it's like your divine self, God, the universe is like, awesome, but you don't have to do it. And that's what it felt like, because isn't that interesting that I forgot the warrior poses and all the hard poses that I really was like, okay, didn't happen. And then the class, like, I felt like I was there more than an hour, but it felt like a 10-minute class to me. So it was a gift, it was a blessing. I feel it's like, part of the light past this really intense initiation I've been going through. So anyway, I'm sending you so much love. Thank you for being here with me. This is on YouTube, so I believe if you turn on notifications, if you want, you will be notified when I post these, because I'm going to post these at all different times. And as I said, this is my birthday month, so this is part of my gift to myself, is showing up for you every day here and sharing these nuggets, to help us rise up together, right? Because this is the time, as I said in another blog post, this is the time to stay the course. I know there's the holidays, I know there's all these things, I know our ego mind can be like, just wait till next year, but no, we are getting the most out of this year, because I truly believe that 2026 is going to be this amazing, magical year of rising up. I'm not saying there's not going to be challenges for the world, for sure, but we're going to be prepared to be the pillars of light that the world needs. And that's why we're going through so much stuff right now. Okay, now I'm really gonna stop. I'm sending you so much love. I know this wasn't the prettiest walk because this is kind of like an industrial, not industrial, but heavily trafficked part. But I'll try to take pretty walks too, so you can at least see that. All right, bye everyone.